my name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we are here finally taking a look at Nightwalker by 10. We are taking a look through his solo works in celebration of hitting 1,000 members on Patreon and 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Still can't believe it. I think it's so cool, and I'm very excited to continue on this journey, not just with 10, but with other K-pop groups, solo artists, and dance groups of the like. So I think without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. He's missing eyebrows. Oh, is he like that weird person at the lab? Oh no. Who's that there with him? Was that his group Wavy? Their feature just then? Or maybe not. I don't know. I may go comment diving. Is he gonna control them too? I think so. What happened to your clothes, 10? Oh, man. Oh, he'll click at the end because he... Wow. Now, I will say that the whole little section in the lab does remind me of XG and Something Ain't Right, where there's like this controlling element to the people around you. But I like both, so I think this is so freaking sick. Lord have mercy. Okay, now we have the performance Komura work. I was just curious about it, because this is technically, at least on the dance analysis side, our finale. Love the falsetto for that. feels like a more in what's it? The choreography is similar to Dangerous, but it's way more, not intricate, but it definitely is a different niche to match the genre. Love it. Oh, prescription. Ugh.
It's a nightmare, so persuasive. You shouldn't chase it, but I want it. I feel my heartbeat get sorted. It's a nightmare, I crave it. Like a disease out of
my dreams. Yeah. Really nice. So you have people telling Mel on each. Probably sped up near the tail end. Oh, what a fun little finish. Bless it. That's freaking sick. Oh my god. Oh, so cool. I can't wait for this dance practice because it's a fixed cam. Come on. Here we go. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't own those pants, but I would like to. Come on. I love the fact he matches his dancers. I can make this outfit work. Okay.
when the rebound comes, pulling the strings, beautiful monster. Royalty, energy, I'm yours. Playing my heart in your way. I'm yours. Come and pray to me.
I really like the song. Good levels. Puts his little hood up and he finishes pew pew pew. Oh, this was so good, guys, because I'm gonna tell you this too. Whenever I do watch choreography, especially if it's close to a genre that I am an active practitioner in, either through choreo or through physically doing it, which is a lot of material I do look at, just how the course is structured, it just makes me so excited to learn it, because if you don't know at this point, this has been selected to be the JESS take that I tackle for the 10 marathon, and so I'm very excited to actually learn this choreo. I'm debating between doing the first course or the second, and I have a feeling y'all would want me to do the second because of the tutting that happens in it. We'll see whenever I go to learn it, but this has just the perfect amount of beautiful, like, tension holds and speed changes, because those are not just breathers, but they're ways to kind of showcase and challenge yourself, and how can you stay captivating when you're going really full, and then being able to switch that off on a freaking dime. It's a really good skill set to refine it, and this is a good choreo to practice that. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm ready for it. So we have all the dancers with their head up. We have 10 with his whole body down. I love the coordination of this, if I'm being real. Like, I'm still thinking about that. Absolutely adore the fact that everybody is wearing such similar fits. I can totally pull the darker wash for sure. I think I'm wearing darker wash jeans right now, but we'll see what I can pull from my closet. So I'm actually excited to put on the dance practice outfit equivalents for me. Oh, it's going to be so good. Okay, so the so look, he's walking. Just the subtlety of the head, really nice timing on the dancers. I like that they're all melting that that you hear. That does end up coming back into play at the very end. So they tend to Oreo cookie the dynamic of it, or what we're hitting, not quite the exact formation schema or structure, which I actually don't mind. I like it. It's nice to kind of tie back to the very beginning, complete your story, but also still make them feel a little bit independent, which is cool. Twiggling in, I like that we have it at least mirrored to the respective inside to 10, and some people have, you know, mirrored levels, which allows it to still feel balanced, which is really nice. It goes do-do-do-do-do-do, stage right, then, sorry, stage left, then stage right, come up, boom, boom, and then from here, I love the snaps there. It definitely feels, oh my gosh, what's the best way to word it? It's a lot of hybrids of different things that I've seen in the K-pop sense recently, as well as in the pop culture scene. It definitely sounds like 5 Seconds of Summer, Young Blood. Like, it's that little vein with how they use the bass. I also feel like it's giving similar to, not quite Horizon by Taemin, because that came out after this, but it's like, it could be in the same, what is it, family tree would be the best way to word it, and I like it because I don't mind putting 10 and Taemin in kind of a similar boat, because it came from the same agency, and 10 was influenced by Taemin, which Taemin was influenced by Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was influenced by James Brown. You know, it can go on and on and on. So I don't mind. I'm not saying that as like a one is better than the other, but both can exist, and we can celebrate the beauty of the overlap as well. We're here for it. So the snaps are nice, boom and boom, and then we do a nice little shampoo over, and then we have, and then we end up resetting it with our hands. We do a nice little head accent on the tail end of that to do the little snap. Then we have about 4 branch away, 2 on each side, and then we have a new little group revealed behind 10, and I like the little speed change scuff. That's super fun. Then we go dee-dee-dee, so I like taking the arms, rotating him up to make it nice, refined to match his syllables. And then as we go, and then he has a more conversational breaking from it. All the dancers still keep that tension in play with where they're placed and how they're executing it, which is nice. From there, I like the strictness of it, of how stiff they are, and then they slowly loosen it up, still showcasing the speed changes. That's just all up in this. And then you have 10 making a more abstract choice, which I really like. Feels very internalized, right? Feels, and I like how he's rotating the wrist around. I think it's water right there. And I like from there, boom, everybody has their hand folded down, which I really like. I like the clean lines of this because whenever you add the tutting sequence in of how it was built out with the other dancers, it doesn't feel like all of a sudden we've gotten it together and we've gotten it nice and clean. It's been clean the whole time because of the angles that we're going for. We're going for that 90, we're going for that 180. We're being very intentional when we rotate. We complete our look that we're going for all the way down to the fingers, which I really like. So definitely here for that. I like his choice with the hinge on the tail end of that. It's really fun. Then it goes swish, swish, then we take it, then we go and we rotate it up, which is also super fun. Then from there, look at that speed change. Come on, and we slide that leg down, and then we have everybody making their own open choice. Either it's open with the arms, open with the chest, things of the like. I really like that. And from there, he throws it away. Come on. And then from there, we promote a different transition for our dancers. Then it says, come, 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 with a little hinge. Feet are glued together. Then it goes high to low, and I like how the dancers go to their respective outside. They stand onto the leg that's on their outside to create a really nice hinge to create a nice little stable moment, still framing, but still allows 10 to have that spotlight moment in the center without it being so obvious. And then I like the ocean. He makes it a little bit more legato, a little bit more full as we travel it in, and then they all look to him. Then he says, come, come, was it run, 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 maybe? I like the little head nods on that, and everyone's down, boom, boom, boom. And they get up, they throw, and then it goes pose, pose, pose. So now we've gone into windows. So very simple, but it's very nice how we transition into that. It's really nice. Then we go and we create this really intriguing kind of finger effect out of this as well. And then from there, click, click, and then I like how we're keeping our head more so like a fixed point where it's stuck in that space where they have it hinged over and they're rotating the torso. It gives a sense of something's not quite right here, which definitely helps build on the storyline that the music video had established. It really does give the creepy guy it's at the workplace, and you're like, I want to talk to you, but also I feel like you collect some very interesting insects that I don't know if I would want to know exist in life, but I know that's probably a passion for you. Do you know what I mean? He gives that kind of vibe with how his hair was. Bless it. But he had some good fashion, though. That's fun. So I like the switch down, and then from there they end up using that as a trigger to get them to drop the level in a really nice, clean way. He stays up, very conversational. Ba-da-dum. I like the little Spanish guitar. Ties in a lot of the other tracks that are on this album, which is super cool. Go tap, tap out. Then you have your back outlier corners. They come up. And I like that they use a little throw with the arm like they're about to run, but not quite. And you had it the outside corners and the inside, so it definitely feels opposite. So the next one would be our outside corners, but now more on the foreground. And then you have your finals. So you still have people framing 10 at all times, and I think it was very nice that they ended with the two closest to them there in the back, because as they get up, they may not have time, which is what it looks like, to get into their next spot. So it's going to be very easy to not cover up, but it's going to make it a little bit easier for us to see what image they want to come across without having to do with the logistics of a heavy transition from the last features. Right there, they can just stand up and we live in life. So I love that he has his hands more stylized facing up. Everybody is taking their chest up. This doesn't look unfamiliar to us because we had them with their head up from the jump, from the beginning, but this one feels a little bit more open, a little more surrender based, right? But now we have a hinge over, which ties in already these hinges that we've been seeing with these fixed points. But because it feels like we're combining. Chess, use English. We got this. Hinging over. I really like it. It definitely keeps that openness, that surrender, which I feel like is kind of using the falsetto, showcases this intimacy, the difficulty of surrendering. It's a very intimate, vulnerable thing. So using falsetto here is actually quite fitting. So his slow walks, even how he walks matches the texture of how they're hinging over, and that's why this works. That's why it always works when you see 10 dance with dancers, because he's able to match the quality of texture that they are asked to do. He's able to also do, but in a conversational element. That's impressive. I love it. And they come back over, rising, and then you have half of them. It does give him, about 4 of them every other, depending on the inside versus outside towards him. We have them go low and then high, but they all do the same arms, and then we switch it, which I really like. Dee the shadow, and the hair is herring. We love it. And he has it, and they go, and instead of bringing the arm up, they bring it back, so it feels like a reversal, doesn't it? Then he takes his together. And it goes right here, and then we let it, everybody's making, honestly, I feel like, are we all supposed to make the same choice? Possibly. Is a little bit more individualized, even though everyone's doing or giving the impression of doing the same arm. I don't believe they all are, though. I think most are doing the left, but then we have like 2 girls doing it with the right. Nope, they're left. Everyone else is doing their right arm. Interesting, right? So I bet it was just, it's all individual. It's because you go, okay, everybody's on the same side. The hinges are the same, but the arm choices are different. It's nice. I don't mind that. And then from here, it does give the impression that 10 is controlling the dancers on that, which is cool. And it goes, you can take the, and then from here it goes up. And just slow walk. He has so many walks with tempos, but it's like, and only on pocket 1. There's 1, 2, or maybe pocket 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So it's definitely on the slower side, which I really love. It's so captivating, right? It definitely allows you to just want to, you get hypnotized almost by just wanting to see, where are we going with this? Because it's so simple, yet I'm so captivated. And that is the beauty of showcasing 10 as an artist over the years. He has those elements, but this one has really come to fruition. I love the fact that we're ending analytically on this one. It's so cool. So from here, now this chorus. Look at that. Look at that walk on tempo. Mwah! I love it. Oh, God, so good. And then right here, little body roll. Now I have to practice, or I have to start diving into this, because your girl's going to have to learn it. It's not, I don't think it's going to be the most difficult thing in the world. But getting the style there is I'm going to be a perfectionist about it. Anyway, so I like the body roll. There's tension there. He does put the 10 in tension. I've talked about this, and he's proving my point tenfold here. A lot of 10s to celebrate. Okay, so we take our hands. I love the accent with the fingers. Then right here, this arm stays up. It goes accent. This one drops and it goes twirling. So we're creating the word play with one hand, but one is still fixed pointed. And then we're adding the addition of the right leg. And we're letting the hip make its own moment too. Then it goes subtlety. It does remind me of Water with the triple bass. Boom, boom, boom. So it feels like we're encompassing a lot of the B-sides together to make Nightwalker. That's cool. Did they use the same choreographers? Wouldn't surprise me. I don't mind the fingerprint overlap if that is the case, and I hope that was an intentional choice, because I think it's worth celebrating. Just a monster. And on the end, boom, boom, stuck. And it's like we clicked it into place. So we had the subtlety of the chest, and then we clicked it into that 90-degree angle down. We let the head rest on it like we're in a nightmare, right? And then we have a little body roll. We're taking, not linearly, but we're taking it more rotational in the chest and the hips. And we're not letting it overly bounce either. It's more isolated, because you want to keep this still, and you want to keep the head being a little bit, it's strange, right? Then from here, I like the little trace, little crawls moments. Look at that. Yeah, heart. And then the dancers come right back in with their hands behind their back. And then they drop down, boom. Then we go. There's that 1, 2. So we do a little hip on that. And then pray to ya. And then we take it over around. Here we go. Break down. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And this part is isolated, so this kind of stuff with the fullness and the cross back like that, or the V-step, I've heard that called, a lot of times you would see this extra rock and play. It is heavily isolated, cut off at the hips, so that's why this gives such a, I don't know, forceful vibe. There's power behind it because of the legs, but there's a lot of precision because of the upper body. Really nice to see. It's a pyramid, and then from there, they create it and let it loose just with the upper body over. Then they have it framed to the underneath the chin, then we bleed, and then we're going to, like we're controlling this kind of hand imagery with the wrist. You do have seeing 10 control the dancers with this kind of intention throughout, and that is nice to see everybody collectively at least integrated in the chorus where we're all being let loose. It's really cool. Then right here, we've dropped the level, but it's still isolated. So the upper body, the head, if you look, the head's not having this little extra bounce. It's still heavily isolated with the body creating this figure 8, but you're digging and scooping with the hips as you're doing it. It's very polyrhythmic and deceptively challenging to do this kind of stuff. This type of degree of polyrhythms to make it look this clean. So it's really nice to see. Whoom, whoom, whoom. Then we pick it up on the last one. Then right here, we chill it out. Now, you would be surprised at how many dancers, there's really not a ton of dancers that can sell the subtle with the loud. Sometimes dancers compensate for their lack of confidence in the subtle by going full out all the time. And that's always a note that I give them. But then you also have the opposite problem where you have dancers who don't have confidence. They're always so subtle. So for me, I love the fact that we have the patience in to allow the fullness, but then also know we can hold it down in the subtlety because both are beautiful. And it's not easy to convert between the two like they're doing, which is really nice. Then right here, they take a little ball change and they're letting that left leg hit from side to side where it goes back to the side, and then I like the framing with the arm at the top, and they promote that into a transition to spread it out, which is really nice. So how people are able to do that is that in order to stay together, if let's talk about our dancer over here. Sometimes this doesn't get talked about. The transitions. How are we able to spread out without making somebody look or give the impression that they're going the opposite way, or they don't go the opposite way? They just compensate the degree of fullness they do in a particular move. So if we're talking about my girl on stage left, if she's stepping over to the right side, she's not going to travel as far as the girl on stage right is, because she don't have to travel that way. She's got to go the opposite way. So whenever she takes her other leg to the other side, guess what? She's taking a significantly bigger step in order to allow that transition to actually happen in the time that it needs to happen. And so then you have people in the center that take equal space going right and equal space left, so they end up staying in the same spot. You have people like that, and then you have people that have to do the opposite of what I just mentioned. So that's how you would get somebody to be able to do a transition in a unison based choreo. It's all about delegating how far you go in a particular step compared to the other one and learning to compensate on that. But here is really nice where you have the leg extended up and it goes up, and the crispness, it feels like we just closed the door. So taking the leg, boom, snapping it right back in place. He has his hand and look what happens. Then we have the chest with the knees. Is really nice. Honestly, if you put this on a different track, it'd be looking like we vibing out at the club. But this is definitely, it feels like we're just showcasing various ways of mischievous controlling. It's kind of cool. Then this part here, I do find it interesting that we're not using our back, but I can't understand why as much, because by using the back and invest the torso more, and I think they're trying to keep it isolated. And that's why I feel like this doesn't have as much power as some of the other choices have been. But that's my note. It's not even, it's just an observation. It's not a critique. I don't mind it. The hinge over, I like the hinge with a trace. Some of them are tracing over the top of the thigh. Some aren't. That is what it is. That's whatever. I like the torso is what matters more than the hand trace, where they lean over and hinge at the hips. Really fun. Then right there, he does that little wrist swing, right? Cool. And he walks. I love that. Boom, boom. That's my name. And they love the good head accents on this. And they go up over, and it goes pray. God, that's so freaking sick. And yeah, and it's definitely like there's gun imagery. I think it's talking about being prey, right? I really love how he was able to take the energy and once again create a little fold down that has energy preserved throughout it. And of course the dancers are holding it down very well. This is something I always commend when it comes to 10 and the dancers he has. The dancers understand the assignment and the responsibility they have to further the imagery and the vision of what these concepts are, because if 10 does it, it's one thing, but the dancers committing to it is what sells it, right? It's a group effort, regardless if people are like, oh, 10, da da da. 10's great. But the dancers are great too, and they will allow 10 to shine. That's the goal, and that's exactly what we're able to get and celebrate in most of his discography. It's fantastic. And he goes, the pain. I like how he deviated rhythmically. Super fun. They take the arms up. And then right here, I love how he has a da, da, da. He's the only one that moves there. And then the little ding. Oh my God. Like with the wrist rotations on that. He just said, flick of the wrist. Come on. We love it. And also I think I'm more sensitive to when somebody hits a bell sound like that in that way, is because very recently I just set Arabian for Nutcracker, and we're taking a different approach to it with one of the studios. We're carrying a more waving presence with it, and so we have some accents and setups are definitely more legato with some textures integrated in, and so there's certain sound in the Arabian music and it has that kind of overlap, and so I accented her choices in that way, and so it's really nice to see it satisfied on a mainstream track. It's so cool. Anyway, so he melts through. I love his follow through that, and he continues the phrase, letting the dancers do what they need to do. So that's a beautiful example of subtlety with loud, right? So soft and loud together. The dancers are being very loud in the transition, where 10's being very subtle, but both get noticed, and he's still featured. Beautiful. From here, same kind of thing we've already kind of seen, right, with all of that. down, 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 and he drops down. They go, do a little pivot turn. They're in the corner, and then from here, definitely feels like we're furthering the story. Just like we saw in the music video, there was a lot of controlling taking place, and we're now setting that up choreographically, which I really love. Then right here, there's your tension with the subtlety matching his falsetto. He's able to do what he needs to do. Come on. And he hits it over, boom, with the rotation, and then he allows it to travel through the hips. When this switches it up, a lot of these little free movements of tracing and framing, we're here for it. Then right here, he goes away, boom, or accents away from the dancers. The dancers go. I love this fa la. Then one of them is the only one. She doesn't move until the tail end after we have other dancers come in. I actually think part of that could be, you see these guys right here. In order, if all of the ladies moved before the guys got in frame, it would look a bit out of place, right? So honestly, I don't know if they chose to workshop this, but I see why they made her wait, because it gives the impression that by one of the dancers in the original framing of this moving at that time, these guys get integrated a little bit more seamlessly, just like the first group of guys did. So that's what my assumption is, educated guess on that, is because it works. I love it. And if they didn't think about that, they got really good natural timing on that. They cover the eyes, he drops it down. I love that. Dancers join in, and then they go dig into the hips, and then they travel it around, and then we have a really nice clean formation with 2 outliers on the side to match with 10. When it comes, I really like he goes first, and then they all join on the second one. Oh Lord, that's so cool. I think, what was that? This is so everyone does the upper body the same, but the legs are second. That's cool. Normally you see just 10 do the movement, everyone's still, and then they all join, but everyone does the same arms, which is why it feels like we're naturally integrated and we're naturally building it to this really intense place with that closed door. Boom, bass crash, so cool. Then they cross in the back, then they bring it over. Same choreo, but notice how much more full it feels, obviously because we have more dancers in the formation, and how they introduced it was really nice. The dig on that's really fun, and this one feels more full, and I think part of it is because of the transition and because we're building it. It's our second course, which we like. Then right here it goes da 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 da, and it goes hit. So definitely gives a ball change with a little framing over, and we pick up the leg, then we dig. Or on it, we're sinking deeper and deeper into our groove on that, and then we hit, 1, 2, 3. Part of me would want to body roll that or groove it, but for they're not grooving it, so I'm gonna have to tell myself, Jess, you're gonna have to get your arms in check and pull that off. Let's go. Then right here, let's talk about this. I may slow it down because there's a lot of moving parts to it just for this section. Okay. So here, he has his moment. He accents his hands back, which allows everybody to start moving. He takes it, he brings it through really nice angles. He crosses it behind, and he takes the other hand and crosses in front. Everyone else is framing to their respective outsides. Pose. Just some wrist 90s with some elbows also to cater it, whether we're making it shorter or longer. Love that. They swing it in, da-da-da. So you hear this da-da-da. So we have some people hitting that da-da-da. And the switch ups is really cool. Then he takes it over. He swings through. You hear the siren. I think 10 is going off of the siren. They're hitting those little bass do-do-do-do-do-do sounds. I go to the inside, which is really nice. Then they travel it to a subtle V on the tail end. I like how they grab him here. They create his arms out, and they kind of create these little pockets for his hands to go. Then we bleed it up. I love his head going up, ties together what he made his dancers do twice already, but it's just him, and we have guys, so it feels completely different, right? Which is really nice. So I like how they all fold their wrist up, but they can't let their hands move with that. They're letting their wrists do all the talking. Then they go and reset. Do-do-do-do. Here's your bass. Then we do the chest, boom, boom, and then I think we're out of the tutting waters here, so we're gonna go ahead and go back to normal. And then from here, he folds it in, do-do-do-do-do-do, and the extra reverb on the tail with the pop. It goes crash. You have some swooping of the levels, which is really cool. Up, down, up. So we create a nice little box with their choice in the torso, and then we have another little tension throw with the arm. Of course, a little speed change on that, and then we do 4 of them. Now with this groove, it does feel like, are we taking a tribute from like inspiration from Thriller, but a completely different genre? Yeah, it really does give that 2024 Thriller vibe, right? Of course, Nightwalker, all that stuff, where it's a corrupt figure and that's your artist, just like MJ. He turned into, like a zombie, which is super cool. Anyway, but this groove here, they're catering more of their weight on the leg that's not shooting out, and they're creating just the arm traces that allows it to feel more full and more upper body oriented, which is cool. Yeah, and they're letting, honestly, this kind of groove, it feels, I've seen people use this when they're doing like a salsa step or that kind of genre in house, like this kind of jack. When I see that, it's super fun. I love seeing that. The opposition of the torso with the leg is really captivating. And it's hard to do, like as many times as they were asked to do after all that. I think they ended up doing like 6 times, bless it. And they had to also do a direction change at the same time. Stay together in unison, full out, but also make this subtle directional mirrored effect where you have 2 in the back corners, 2 in the front corners, and you're not supposed to see it until this moment. That's nice and strategic. He lifts, and then one of my guys walked a smidgen too early, but it felt like we were leaning before our walk, which was cool too. It's a nightmare. Persuasive. Little moment there, and he takes it over. Donna. And his little pop on the tail end of that, and he does a little pulse down. Come on. It's a nightmare, and of course we're walking on that march, and then we have the subtlety with a nice little slow, and then we continue to walk in our columns, and then we let our hip lead on the separation there. You notice with our 2 dancers there that are adjacent to him, they let their hip on that lead. Then they go to the inside, hands behind the back, which is the marches are nice. And honestly, can I just say I'm so happy we don't have a basket run in here. Mwah, chef's kiss to that. Their basket run was fixed to marches with the hands behind the back. I will accept that day in and day out for this concept. Let's go. So they're doing ball changes and switching in the torso and rocking it side to side. Ooh. And then we bring it over. Definitely reminds me of one of these, like a little toss it up. But honestly, it looks similar to when you would watch, what was it, New Jeans, they have a track. It's either Supernatural or How Sweet. I think it could be How Sweet, where the torso and the lean on it is opposite to the leg. It does remind me of whenever you see people do Scarecrow, that kind of boogaloo texture or design in the dynamic. So that's what that reminded me of. But am I going to give it a name? I would say it's hybrided, which is cool. And then I like the little extra march on that, very crisp. Then I love how we take the arms and we make them go low to high to create the transition, and everyone's making different directional choices depending on the line will create that illusion of the transition that we see. It goes down, up, do, like the crispness of that. And we go down and down, so I really like the fullness of that. It's freaking sick, come on. And so it goes pulse and double it up. Use those shoulders. And that, it is a bit tricky because of our vantage point to see who's going low and who's going high, but at least I see the dynamic exists, so I do like that. And then it's very quick on the do on that, so we're not just entertaining unison, we're having these little deviations of levels, and that's the kind of stuff that I've mentioned in other choreographies, not of TENS, but in the K-pop scene in general. Sometimes when you have an absence of dynamics whenever you set up your verses with heavy imagery, like what TEN has, if they didn't have, they didn't have that little moment there, there's a potential that it couldn't be as captivating as it was, because it allows my brain to rethink and redigest what that movement was, even though we've already seen it a couple times throughout the choreo. It's little things like that I always appreciate. So right there, that arm right there, notice that we're not facing side when we do it, we're facing front on that. So I appreciate that. And then it makes it look more full because we're seeing a front vantage point on it. I like the clap on that end. And everyone makes their own choice with the head to the front. Come on. Then it branches back over. This crispness, not a reverb, but definitely an intentional finish punctuation on it. I love how he takes it and he's still doing his tying in the Nightwalker vibes here. And then they're taking their arms, talking about praying for, boom, boom. I think that could be a smidgen crisper on our dancers, but for it being 3 minutes in, we pick our battles. That's whatever. I could clearly see what's going on. Then they use it to turn around. I love that. He's still subtle. They walk, not really walk, they just slide intentionally to their 2 columns. Way to go on getting the spacing right to where everybody can just do a simple slide in, and then they're able to automatically be there. So they're melting in their own choice. 3 down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 1, 2. So here's what happened on the timing. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think is what ended up happening. How many groups did they have? Yeah, so they went really slow, pocket 1, and then went pocket 2. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Yep, so they went pocket 1 and pocket 2 on the timing, and that's why I felt like it expedited, because it did. But I love that we were intentional on the guitar. And then he puts his hood up, and then he goes, pew, 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 pew. That was really cute. This, to me, is a fantastic example of a great finale marathon finish. Now, there is one other piece of material that I get to look at, but it's more variety content. But this is still going to be marked as the marathon finale, but there is one more thing. That I am just through the moon on the fact that I have the privilege of watching this in the context that I do have. That was one reason why I waited until this type of opportunity, so we can look at 10 from this lens of seeing him as a soloist grow from dream in a dream all the way through until here. Part of me is really hopeful that we get to see him possibly pursue more 10 choreography concepts. I think that would be super fun to see again, just like we did in the early stuff, like with Taki Taki, or with collaborating with other choreographers. I think super fun. But I also know that he's super heavy in the collaborative process on his own tracks. I know that, but it's still not the same. It's just him taking full ownership and doing all the choreo himself. So I am so looking forward to the commentary on this from you guys and the discussions that we're going to have. Which track is your favorite? Shortly after this gets uploaded onto Patreon or YouTube, I will be tackling this myself. I've got to go find whatever pieces I have to match as close to them as possible in the dance practice scene, and see how it feels and see how it goes. So I'm digging this.
When the night comes, pulling the strings with a full monster, quality energy, and yours, playing my heart away. Bow down and praise me. That's my name, oh that's a hunter. I'm the prey, you made me lose it. Go insane, and I need prescription for the pain.